What's up, y'all? Shaman Shank back at you with another one. And man, let me tell you, I'm feeling real super today. And you'll understand what I'm talking about here very shortly. We have got a beast of a knife, an absolute monster of a knife. And let me tell you something, it's pretty awesome. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into it. The knife I'm talking about today is the massive, the beastly, the intimidating, but the willing and able and very utilitarian CQC-7. Supersized, baby. That's right. We got a super CQC-7 here, guys. And like I said, I know you've seen it on camera, on the small screen that I have this on is not doing this knife justice, guys. This thing is massive. And I think back in the video, this is the second super I have. I have a Super Commander and now I have a Super CQC-7. And if you look back at my review of the Super Commander, I made a comment of whenever I ordered it and I opened the box, I was like, holy crap, that is a huge EDC. A very big everyday carry, and this is no different, guys. But let me tell you something, I'm in love. I am in love. This knife, making the CQC-7 a knife that I raved about in my review and I still love so much to this very day. This knife in these dimensions completely changes this knife. It's like not even the same knife. And I will definitely break out the CQC-7, the regular, and compare it to this. But this has completely, this being supersized, has completely changed the knife, the feel, the everything about this knife has changed with the size. But guys, we have an overall length of 9 inches. Pretty daggum long. I mean, the CQC-8 basic is 9.3 inches from what they say, but man, this is very long compared to, the CQC-7. The blade's coming in at 3.7 inches long, so, you're getting right up on that 4-inch mark a good bit, and you definitely feel it, guys. It feels like a solid 4-inch blade with this. The spine is super thick, just like on the basic CQC-7, all the way to the tip. Very, very awesome. It's got that classic, the chiseled edge. This side is not sharpened. And of course you got, this side is, and I've got the serrations on there. I'll get more into that as well. And it has a weight of 6 ounces, which I expected. I mean, you definitely feel it. It takes up a lot of pocket real estate, guys. If you're not into bigger EDCs, this knife may not be the knife for you. I don't think it will be the knife for you because it does take up a lot of real estate. I always carry my knife in my right pocket because I'm a righty, and usually the only thing I have in my pocket with my knife is my keys. And let me tell you something, with the pants I wear and shorts I wear, I don't really have an issue, but if you're wearing some gym shorts or, some hip-hugging jeans, I mean, you're going to be looking like you have a daggum appendage hanging out the side of your hip, no doubt about it, because this does take up a lot of real estate in your pocket and it's got some weight in it. So unless hopefully if you get this knife and you're carrying it, you're fully aware of that, which I mean is common sense when you get it. But it'll definitely, like I said in the Super Commander video, you'll be showing some butt crack. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, guys, this knife is amazing. And going back to the serrations, this is the second Emerson that I've ever gotten with serrations, with the other one being the Patriot. And I raved about the serrations on that knife, and I always told myself, I said, if I ever am to get a CQC-7 variant, whatever again, I said, I'm going to slap serrations on that bad boy because I bet it would be dynamite. And let me tell you something, a blade this size, I mean, I may be a little hesitant to break out or get serrations on the basic CQC-7 because the blade is a good, substantially smaller than this, because the serrations, take up a decent amount, not too bad, but but this right here, guys, I mean, heck, you still got more than half a blade up here and you got these little serrations down here. Putting serrations on this knife, to me, with the size and the utility of this knife, have made this, like, to be honest with you, and people can argue with me or say what they want to, but this is my opinion. This knife has went from an absolute amazing EDC, self-defense, whatever it may be in the regular, this knife has went to a survival tool. I'm not joking. Whenever you hold this knife, you feel like it's been I don't know, for lack of a better term, it feels like it should be like issued to somebody. You feel like you're holding something very special to me. This knife is just it shines, and you really feel like you're holding something different in your hand, than your basic EDCs. But you know it is, it's a super. You know, if you know anything about Emerson, their supers are, it's a step up. It definitely is an increase, but this knife definitely arouses a different emotion in me from just holding the basic CQC-7. And like I said, I'll break it out here in a minute and show you the difference in it. But this knife is amazing. And I'll tell you what, heck, I'm just gonna go ahead and break it out. The basic CQC-7, and you know, this one is in Thunderstorm finish. I did a review of this knife. And of course, this one is in satin. I really did want this in Thunderstorm, but it wasn't in stock. And then they just did a drop on these, and it was quick. And I said, hey, you know, I'm not mad at it. The satin on there looks great. And I'm kind of glad, to be honest with you, now that I got satin with it, because it just makes that blade shine and just looks absolutely phenomenal, guys. But look at this, guys. It's like father and son, take your son to work day. I mean, it is insane, the difference in the size of this. You know, and it's the same difference for the, you know, the Super Commander and the regular Commander. It just really, it really amps it up. And really, to be honest with you, you know, as you see, doing, you know, wave to wave here, you know, you got at least a good right at an inch more blade on this knife. This is coming in 3.3 or 3.4 in that range. And, you know, you got the 3.75 on this. And also the biggest difference on here too, I mean, just as big as the blade, is the width in the handle. I mean, you could fit, hang on a minute, let me show you a better demonstration here. You could fit the regular CQC-7 within the handle of the super. So I mean, it's pretty insane. Like I said, you know, holding the basic, you know, it's great ergonomics. You know, this feels a lot more just absolute basic. Take out of your pocket, you know, it's all good. You know, I got a nice cool knife on me. When you break out the damn super, like I'm telling you guys, it feels like a whole different knife. It's a whole different ball game. It really does. It changes this knife as a whole. You know, you got the same utility, everything, Lord, like everything about it is like, you know, the same aesthetically. But like I said, the width in that handle, it fills out your hand. And like that was really the main complaint on the Emerson website. If you look at the reviews, the main complaint, if any at all, you know, one that popped up was the size of this thing. People saying it's so daggum massive, I can't even carry it. And I'm like, oh, you know, I've heard people say that about the Super Commander, and that's not a problem at all. But I can completely understand this knife being too big for some people, majority of people. This knife is massive. If you break this bad boy out at a party or a place like a, you know, a work setting where people aren't, you know, really, you know, may not appreciate beautiful, wonderful things like this, you may get some looks. You may get some looks. Definitely, you know, they may be like, oh my God, what's the shaman doing over there, dog? He about to kill somebody. But guys, it's amazing. And like I said, you know, this carry, you know, what makes you feel comfortable. And I definitely feel comfortable carrying this blade. I feel like this knife, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm taken away by it, to be honest with you. I kind of am astonished at how much I love this knife because, like I said, you know, in my video for the CQC-7, I absolutely love it to pieces. And this is just taking that to a different level. It's supersized my love for the CQC-7. And, it's absolutely amazing, guys. Oh man, what else can I say about this big, beautiful beast of a knife? Guys, I don't know. It feels like I'm holding, for lack of a better analogy or explanation, it feels like I'm holding like a G10 wrap handled razor sharp metal shard. It really does, like a shank, the shaman of shank, baby. But it feels like I'm holding like this big massive metal shank in my hand. Like it just feels amazing. But the weight is not crazy holding this knife. You know, it is 6 ounces. Don't get it twisted. You know, and it, you know, it will you'll definitely feel it in your pocket if you're not wearing the proper pants. But, you know, with all that put aside, you know what you're carrying. It's like, oh my God, you know, you know what it is. And like I said, I think I made a comment in my last video. I've been carrying the CQC-7 a lot, which is a substantially smaller knife than this. And, you know, I've been kind of, you know, maybe I'm getting older. Maybe, you know, I'm about to be 40. Maybe I'm just becoming an old timer, wanting to, you know, carry a little bit smaller knives. But let me tell you something. This knife has revamped and revitalized my love for big everyday carries because it is just amazing. I feel ready. I feel like my knife can handle absolutely anything I need to throw at it with this knife. And this is a doomsday knife right here. Like this is an absolute unit. This knife is a unit. I'm not sure if they're still in stock on the Emerson website. I think last time I checked, which was about maybe a day ago, I think there were 4 left, guys. So I'm not sure. You can definitely get on there if they're out of stock. Put your information in there to get, you know, a notification whenever they are to come back in. But I highly recommend it. If you love big EDCs and you love the CQC-7, this is a must, guys. It takes this knife to a whole different level. It does not even feel like you're holding, it feels like it's just a whole different knife, but it has that same classic, you know, ergonomics utilitarian blade. But also, like I said, guys, this, as I said in the CQC-7 initial video, this knife is a designed weapon, and this is a nasty ass weapon. And don't get me wrong, man. If God forbid you're in the situation, you know, and you need to break out this bad boy to defend yourself or your family or whatever it may be, you definitely have definitely a worthy tool to do so. There's no doubt about that. And also, like I said, this will cut open your packages. This will, you know, open up the toys for little tykes, you know, in your house. There's no doubt about it. It'll do anything you need to do. And those serrations, man, it's like you have a daggum pocket saw. I mean, you have at least 1.5 inches of serrations right here, and look how much blade you have left, not counting, you know, the tanto tip here, you know, swedge right there. So you got plenty of cutting edge, plus you got, you know, you got a pocket saw, guys. You're gonna straight go to town, you know, like that, you know. They're wonderful. These teeth, these serrations that Emerson does, they are absolutely phenomenal. They're great on my Patriot. I use them all the time, and you don't really realize, I wasn't a big serrations guy, but you really don't realize how much they come in handy until you give them a shot. And let me tell you something, they are worth the price of admission, especially on a blade this size. You're definitely not gonna miss out or cut yourself short on any edge by getting serrations on a, you know, a 3.7 to 4 inch blade, no doubt about it. But it shines on this knife, guys. And also I wanted to break out, speaking of Super, I want to break out my other Super and kind of show you the comparison between the Super Commander size wise and the Super CQC-7. As you see, you know, they're both huge. If you match up the butts on them, definitely the Super Commander steps ahead a good bit, every bit of 1 inch, maybe a little bit over 1 inch. But you know, that's super time, baby. It's this is straight super. This is a Super Wednesday right now, baby. It's amazing. Both are amazing knives. But yeah, guys, I had to get on here and share an amazing, beautiful knife. I think I may keep this one in basic black G10. I know I always say that, and always end up doing something with it, but it just feels right on this knife. It really does feel right on this knife. This feels like just throw it in the pocket, you know, you about to get it in, and I definitely feel ready for whatever task a knife can do. This knife can definitely do it. Guys, don't think twice about it. Like I said, but also, like I said, please take into consideration the size, the weight, and you know, it's a massive knife. And it's not just the length, because I mean, like, you know, a CQC-8 is 9.3 inches, but a CQC-8's presence in the pocket, you know, with that being 0.3 inches longer than this is definitely different in the pocket. There's no doubt about it, because, like I said, the handle is just so wide. I mean, you have at least, man, every bit of going on close to a 2-inch wide handle there. I mean, but it feels great in the hand, and it's amazing. You have to look into it, guys. This knife has a presence. I was so pleasantly surprised when I opened it up and looked at it, and it was everything I thought it would be. You know, but when you see stuff on a video and, you know, and you see reviews like you're watching right now, you never really know until you get it in your hands. And hopefully, if you are interested in a Super CQC-7, this gives you a little bit of an insight to it. But, like, you know, just weigh out the, excuse me, weigh out the pros and the cons, and, you know, it may be for you. But, you know, you can't go wrong with the old basic CQC-7 either. You know, I still carry that gem of a knife a lot, and this is definitely going to be carried out a good bit. This is like something that you know, this would shine anywhere, but especially, you know, on a heavy duty job site, whatever it may be, or you're going out, you know, maybe on the water, you got to cut some rope a lot, you know, and also, you know, down on town, taking the wife out to dinner, you know, God forbid, like I said, but you got definitely a very intimidating and willing and able blade to defend yourself with. There's no doubt about it. I mean, hell, they may start running when you pull this thing out. You may even have to even cut anybody. You just straight, you know, say, hey, dog, not today. And they're like, oh, son, gone. But, you know, God forbid that even happens. But it's always good to have something on you. You know, it's a peace of mind, you know, and I'd rather be caught with one than without one, you know, especially if you're not carrying a concealed firearm. And this also would match that too. You know, if you concealed carry, this would be an awesome, you know, backup weapon for you to have on you. if it suits your needs and, what you see appropriate. But guys, the CQC-7 supersize, the Super 7, the succulent, the sexy, the razor sharp legend. This is a true all-American badass. And let me tell you something. I just feel like when I grab this knife, I can just hear the eagles in the distance squawking and screeching and just flying across the lake, and just, the American flags flying out and fireworks. And man, this knife is an American badass. This knife is I don't want to say the epitome, but this knife sums up, I believe, what Emerson and what I know Emerson, what their agenda is. Like, this knife says it tried and true. It's unapologetically it is what it is, and it is an absolute badass, amazing piece of American weaponry and utility. I love it. I really do love it. Classic design, but it's taken up, baby. We supersizing today. But yeah, guys, that's about all I have to say about this knife. Beautiful knife. Get on there, check it out. If it's out of stock, be sure to put your info down, and you can get an email whenever they get back in stock. But guys, the Emerson Super CQC-7. Never leave anywhere without it, but be sure you got a belt on. Be sure you ain't wearing gym shorts, because people will be like, damn, you see that dude's butt crack? He's walked past me. Yeah, that will happen to you, I promise, especially with the Super Commander. The Super Commander even feels a good bit heavier than the CQC-7 supersized. But guys, amazing knife. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have an amazing week. Hope you had an amazing 4th of July. Speaking of America. But yeah, guys, enjoy the rest of your summer. Get out there, have some adventures with yourself, with the family, with your loved ones, and have a excellent and wonderful time. And when you're doing that, guys, please, as always, stay sharp.